Alright guys, so it is Game Changers weekend where all the EA NHL Game Changers head to Vancouver and they put all their input in from the community and see what they can do to help out each year's variation of NHL. Last year was kind of a letdown. I'm not a game changer, not yet at least. Thought that I would make a quick video of the things that I would like to see implemented in the game. These aren't going to be like, you know, the ones everyone says, like puck pickups and actual gameplay, because I don't really have any faith that that'll ever change, or at least go back to what it was. I'm going to talk about quality of life things that would be very easy to implement in the game, and would love to see it going into NHL 19. So here's the 5 things that I would like to see in NHL 19. So number 5 is in regards to HUT. I think that quite a bit of the changes that they made, I said this in my last State of the Game video, as far as like Evos go, I think that those are great sets. Like, I think they actually released some really cool sets. They just oversaturated the market, and I really hope that they learn from this year's problem. As far as the market goes, so less cards would actually be what I would advocate for. Not so much less cards in the amount of players, but you know, there's no reason to have 15 Alex Ovechkins unless he's hitting literally every milestone of his career. Then there's really no need for that. They started out the year really well by dialing back the ratings on players. I thought that was fantastic because, you know, at the start of the game, I remember packing McDavid on day 1 and being absolutely lit that I had, you know, the second best card other than Crosby in the game on day 1, and then the Legends slowly came out, and that was again perfect because, you know, in the first month or 2 of the game, the Legends meant something, because I remember seeing like Pavel Bure like on the first couple weeks and being like, oh my god, and you know, it's just it was really cool on packing those cards. But then, you know, a month in and there's just so many great cards that it's just pointless, and packing a Legend by December was just useless in like 10k. Like, that needs to be changed. But I think that as far as the sets and whatnot, I hope that they improve on the sets that they do implement into the next game. Like I said, Evos was a great thing. I think that's a sick kind of card, and it was pretty much, it stayed the entire year. That's what you want. That's what you want. Kind of sets like that. It doesn't necessarily mean that they have to all jump up, because Evos should be the best card in the game because they're Evos. They're the most expensive for a reason. They, you know, they jump up every time there's any release in the card. But just dial back the ratings. Like, if it's December, don't be releasing 99s or 96s. You know, make it a few, like 92s. Make it the same as Legends. You know, those kinds of things. Or maybe just re-release Legends, or have them upgrade. I think that would be kind of a cool idea. If the Legend cards, those are sick. Like, those are like past great players. They should be as good as the current players if they're Legends. That makes sense. But I think that there should be more cards that adjust their ratings overall throughout the year. Number 4 would be to make a clear-cut decision and be open with the community as far as where esports is going. It's been great. I was a big Versus player. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw that it was Versus, I was super stoked because I'm not a huge fan of HUT. The only reason is because it changes so much, and I'm just not a large fan of it. And 6 I think that is the best way to have like an esports for NHL, just like the NBA and things like that. I just think that would have taken a lot of coordination in the first time going through. I think Versus was the easiest and you know, kind of the quickest way to get NHL into the esports world. But what I really want them to do is be open and clear cut about where they're going. Now, if they're going to keep it Versus, okay. If they're going to do Versus another game, that's fine, double down. But you need to make it so that there's not just a blanket leaderboard. I think that if they could implement some sort of weekend challenge, tournaments, those kinds of things, or even qualifiers within the game, that's going to grow the game you know, that much faster. There's a lot of great players that, you know, don't necessarily have, let's say, Twitter or, you know, exposure to NHL. They're doing a great job exposing it, but if it was literally in the game, whether it be qualifiers for regional tournaments or smaller LAN tournaments, those kinds of things, I think that it'd be really cool to have within the game, not just you know, the HUT comp season, something along those lines, but maybe something that over the season will actually qualify you for something larger that the NHL actually sponsors. That would be what I would like to see if they're going to stick with Versus. In regards to EASHL and or sixes, small thing that I would love to see is captains brought back. I'm not sure why it was taken away in the first place. I think that it's kind of cool, especially if you're playing on League Gaming or VG or whatever. I think it's kind of cool to have a captain. In retrospect, as far as esports go, I really hope that they do something for ESHL. Maybe not right when the game comes out, but maybe by December or January. It'd be cool if they did the same kind of thing as what I mentioned with Versus. If there was, everyone misses attributes and things like that. I think that not necessarily breaks the game, but it definitely rewards players that grind it non-stop, and it completely, there's no problem with that. Like, I'm a streamer, I love playing the game a ton. I would do well, I'd have great attributes, I would have all the best like stuff, that kind of stuff, because I play the game so much. But you're segregating part of the community that's good, but just has a life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't really do that. But it would be cool if there was a weekend league or a monthly league where if attributes were a thing, where you can actually work towards your player and you could use that player against in other esports sponsored events by NHL. That would be something really cool, and I would love to see. Not necessarily just random builds or whatever. It'd be really cool to be able to customize your character. And if you want to have a faster defenseman but lesser shot, like things like that, though, that would be kind of cool to see if they could do that in sixes again for like the esports angle on it. But just for, like I said, quality of life, I would love to see captains brought back. Again, it's something stupid. I don't know why they took away. Number 2, this is going to be for franchise mode. I used to be a gigantic franchise player. It used to be like the only reason I bought NHL. I would just dump hundreds of hours. I'm sure there's thousands of you out there that did the same thing and probably still do. They need to fix scouting. They need to make scouting and progression a little bit more realistic. If you have a player, regardless of how bad he is, and you control him, and I'll use the Sharks as an example. If you have, let's say, third liner Jonas Donskoy, not a great player, not really going to elevate his play any higher than it currently is. Really, he's about a 40-point player, like an 81 overall. If you control him a season and you put up 70 goals, the next season there is no reason why he is not a 90. You know what I mean? There should be progression based on the actual performance year to year. It doesn't necessarily need to be, if you put this many goals in, you need to be this ranked. It could be an algorithm, but there needs to be an adjustment where if I play my season and I have, a great player that I put, or a great season with someone that isn't very good currently, there's no reason why the next season he should be rated almost the exact same. It doesn't make any sense. Same with scouting. I've heard rumors that scouting is about to be overhauled. Thank God. Scouting needs to be completely redone, because scouting is like one of the most fun things to do. The draft in the game needs to mean more. It needs to be a little bit more, have more clarity. And again, if you draft like that 7th round pick and you put him in the OHL for 3 seasons and he doesn't become anything, he should at least become low 70s. Not all of them. But again, if you put him in the AHL, blows up the AHL, and he's still like a 58 because, he's not rated higher, supposed to get any higher. He had an amazing season. His next season stats should reflect that. I think that there should be ratings that kind of move with the ebbs and flows of how players' careers go. And again, an easy way to fix that is if Donskoy put up, 60 goals in a season, he could be just like Jonathan Cheechoo. The next season he puts up 30, drop the rating back down a little bit. It doesn't just need to be this stagnant growth where, okay, you're an elite overall rookie, you're going to explode no matter how good of a season you have. But if someone who's, bottom 6 potential puts up huge numbers, he's just bottom 6. Like, I hope that that's fixed. I think that it's an easy fix. I'm not a game developer, but I feel like that would be, again, just mathematics and an algorithm to actually have that implemented. I would love to see that because it would completely reinvigorate franchise mode. I think that the expansion system and things like that, I loved this year. That was great. They just need to fix player progression. Honestly, it's just brutal so far. My number one thing that I would love for the quality of life of the game would be something in Versus. And again, guys, these things are not the most important. They're literally just what I would like to see. I don't think that they're a hard change. Just my random ideas that I think that would really make the game a lot better. When it comes to the actual gameplay, I'm not going to touch on that. There's a million things that can make the gameplay better. I don't personally know how you make puck pickups better, or, things like that. I mean, I guess game speed you could just adjust a little bit faster, but I have no idea how to fix that, and I really don't think it's going to change all that much, because that is probably the harder aspect of the game. But adding things like captains on 6s, I think that that's stupid easy. So that's what I'm talking about today. So my last thing, my number one thing that I would love to see that needs to be implemented in the next game, and I really think it will because of how much the NHL doubled down on esports this year, is that you need to be your lines need to save in versus. There is no reason why in 2018 we cannot have a pre-lineup set for a team that we use regularly. If everyone is going to use the same 3 teams, why not be able to, when we select that team, have a default of what we want? If we want Stamkos on the wing and not at center, and JT Miller on the first line, I don't want to have to change that 5 billion times every time I go to play versus. Like, that's crap. There just needs to be a way to do that. Now, also, I would love if you could edit lines in a game. If someone gets injured, I don't want to see some garbage, like, 4th liner on defense. I want to be able to adjust that, to be able to change the lines mid-game. I don't understand why we can't do that. So that would be my most important thing I would love to see in NHL 2019. Alright guys, so that was my top 5 quality of life things I would love to see in NHL 2019. Again, they're not like the most important things to implement in the game, just what I personally would love to see. Be sure to subscribe and let me know what you think down below in the comments section. All that YouTube content creator garbage at the end of each video. Follow me on Twitter, guys, and Instagram and all that garbage along the top. That would be lit. My content's gonna dial back a little bit. My wedding is in like 3 weeks, and I'll be in Hawaii for 2. So if you don't see me for a little while, that's why. And I'll be back to every week, couple videos in the middle of June. So thanks for watching, guys. No Sleeps 12, and yeah, sub.